Greg, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
It's a road car.
Welcome to the driver's line. I'm Greg.
And I'm Jordan. And this is one of the most anticipated driver's cars of the year.
The Lotus Emira. Alright guys, we are here in the Lotus Emira. This is the 2024 model. Even though the 24 model still managed to be a first edition.
Incredible.
It is incredible because Lotus was delayed a little bit in the production of this car. Yes. But as you guys know, we're in a car that weighs only 3,284 pounds. So by modern standards, it's actually pretty much a lightweight.
It's a lightweight. May as well be a Miata.
Might as well. Yes. Well, a little bit bigger than Miata. It's got a 101.4 inch wheelbase.
Okay. That's substantial.
Yeah. Oh, 173 inches in length overall. So we actually have some decent overhangs, believe it or not.
Well, that all comes courtesy of the fantastic styling on this thing.
I know, the styling is actually fantastic. We've given a fair bit of attention here, and I'm going to get us some more. Oh, maybe not. I was going to pass that Volvo. So one of the fun facts about the Lotus Emira is that it actually comes with a Toyota engine.
That's pretty remarkable.
It is remarkable. So, and Lotus has actually slapped a supercharger on it, so it makes 400 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, and that's going to come available with a 6-speed manual, which is the one you want.
Yes, it is the one you want. It's a very slick shifting transmission. So, yeah, it gives you it gives you a little bit of push. I mean, again, the car only weighs a little over 3,200 pounds, so 400 horsepower is nothing to sneeze at in a car this light.
Absolutely not. And I mean, delivering all that, it's silky smooth.
Silky smooth, yes. The 0 to 60 comes up in only 4.2 seconds, and that quarter mile is going to be gone in about 12.6 seconds at 109 miles an hour.
Wow.
I know. So it's actually really hard to believe, but it's pretty close to like my Cadillac's performance as far as like straight line.
With the heart of a Camry.
Yes, with the heart of a Camry and a supercharger.
Yeah, so and those of you who don't drive manual transmission, it is available with an 8-speed Ace and automatic, but
you don't want that.
You really don't.
You don't want that.
Later on down the line, it will be available with a turbo 4-cylinder engine, courtesy of Mercedes-AMG, with a dual clutch.
Yes.
So
that one actually might be a little bit interesting. That's going to be very kind of similar to like the Cayman 718.
Exactly.
You know, 2.5 liter turbo.
But for me, there's no replacement for displacement, I think.
No. This is the one you want, 100%. This is the one you want.
You got Toyota dependability with Lotus engineering. So we know that the Emira has plenty of power for its size. It gets off the line pretty quickly.
It does.
But the sign of any true sports car is also braking quickly. I think this does a great job of that.
What do you think? You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took your face off.
Wow.
That wasn't even full brakes. That was not even feeling ABS engaged. I mean, these brakes are very, very firm.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that's interesting to me is this pedal box is so tight.
It is really tight.
I don't have huge feet, you know. I mean, I got a size 11 and a half. But I was a little bit on the gas when I had the brakes there. So I was clutched in, so it was fine. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's a strange sensation to have such a narrow foot box. I mean, I know we did the joke with the Pilotis to start with as far as racing shoes, but honestly, you kind of need them.
It's set up for racing.
It is.
Without
It's
a doubt.
Absolutely set up.
It really is.
You know, it may be a street car, but it's definitely set up for a track day. You know, I mean, it's ready to go. The other thing about this car, it has tons of, which unfortunately we haven't been able to test a ton here because we're out in the Raleigh-Durham area. But this thing has so much grip.
Oh yeah.
So much grip on the skid pad. 1.06. Literally
Wow.
anything above 1G is like supercar territory.
Yeah.
And this thing takes it up another level. I mean, we were encroaching on like Chevrolet Corvette Z06
That's insane.
territory, which is really, really impressive.
Yeah. I really think this is more of a GT-ish type car. It's nice to know it has that capability, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as hard knifed
Yeah.
as like a GT4.
Yeah.
However, I think it's more than a Cayman.
Oh,
S,
for sure.
Or GTS even.
Yeah, I agree.
So it kind of cuts that line between the two and gives you something a little bit different. Now, as far as price goes, this one was about $107,000, which is a lot of money.
Yep.
These are still kind of hard to find since production was pretty slow.
Yeah.
But you can find them out there if you look. And given how late it was, a lot of people actually cancel their reservations. So you can actually find one sometimes even lower than MSRP if you look.
Yeah, look carefully.
And I'm not going to call that a value, but it's not that bad, frankly.
I mean, you know, but no, it's really not, considering, I mean, when you look at its contemporaries, I mean, the Porsche Cayman would be the, you know, closest matched one, I would imagine. And by the time you option it up the way you want to,
Oh, absolutely.
you're surpassing what you're looking at here,
Yeah.
probably, considering its capabilities. Now, you won't have Porsche's network of dealerships to service this Lotus, because I'm sure it'll be
No.
super reliable.
Yes.
I think it'll be totally fine.
This could be fine. You don't need, you can just take it to any Toyota dealership and they will take care of it for you. They'll be like, oh, is that the new LR2? Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
They're just going to turn you away.
Yeah, I know.
Or worse, they'll try to work on it.
Exactly. What worse?
Oh, we're coming up to a corner here. Test out those G's.
That's how those G's.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I'm kind of drawn to about this car is the last of an era, right? Like this is the last of, it is literally the last internal combustion car Lotus is ever going to make.
It's true.
They're going purely EV after this. And that's kind of the industry as a whole as well. They're kind of moving away from these mechanical, wonderful machines and going to something that's a little bit more like a computer on wheels.
Yep.
And that's just the way of progress. That's the way it's going. And I'm kind of reminded of that Top Gear segment where Jeremy Clarkson was waxing poetic about the Aston Martin V12 Vantage, saying that it was like the last of a dying breed.
Right.
He wasn't wrong there, but this is literally the last of the dying breed. And it does kind of fill you with a little bit of sadness. You know, this is the last of an era. This is the last of the mechanical driver's cars. Like, what are we going to have after this? I know they're going to be able to deliver it in an EV at some point, right? I mean, we know that's going to be able to come. But this is it. This is the last time you're going to see that throttle linkage move back there. You're going to have a manual transmission.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to hear the revs on the overrun.
Not to mention how many cars nowadays have hydraulic steering racks.
Yeah.
This is one of the last ones.
Yeah.
I mean, to come out with a car brand new.
That's not a power steering rack, right?
I mean,
it feels so good. It feels so connected to the road.
Oh, yeah. Really nicely weighted.
Yeah. Just as far as this thing drives, I cannot say enough positive things about it. It was wonderful, wonderful to be behind the wheel of.
I think what kind of like boils down this car in terms of its mechanical abilities is the fact that, I mean, Lotus is known for its ability to engineer a car to bring the road to you as a driver. And I don't think any of that's really missing in this package. But so you look at the past like models that Lotus has put out, and they're all so hardcore when it comes to, you know, their usability. It's all about the driving. This one has that ability, but it layers on top of it a layer of luxury, I guess you could say. It's way more comfortable, so you're not really missing out a ton on your driving feel at all.
All right, so what do you think of that little burn?
I mean, it's so fun, even from the passenger seat.
Yeah, I know, right? So you got to get you behind the wheel of it next. Let's see what you think.
I'm excited.
And but first, we're going to talk about the interior. So, what do you think about this interior in this Lotus?
Yeah, I mean, I think that first of all, the level of fit and finish in this is so high.
Oh, it's very high.
I mean, it's really, really well put together for a car that, you know, I mean, Lotus doesn't build many cars, and I mean, it's such a step up from the Evora.
Oh, it's a massive step. Like, Evora felt like a kit car.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not mince words here.
For sure.
The Evora was 100% a kit car,
Yeah.
and the Elise was just Spartan, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, this feels like a luxury car. This, is not quite to the level of fit and finish that you'll find in a Cayman, but it's not far off.
No,
like, I mean,
it's
we've
not.
got a few panel gaps. We've got these, where the door meets the dashboard. It's not perfect, but it's not as bad as that Maserati we had.
No,
and
no.
the materials are very, very lovely. Like, I mean, the Alcantara headliner, I mean, the leather on these
Super nice.
seats.
You got stitching on these
Almost everything.
visors.
Yep.
I mean,
soft touch materials on the dash and even like below. It's got the technology as well. I mean, we've got a screen for our dash. We've got a center screen here for our infotainment.
You got Apple CarPlay going.
It all works.
Yeah.
And the Lotus.
So you're not missing much.
No.
I mean, honestly, and I think the color combinations that are available on these are really nice too. They complement the car really well. So there's an attention to detail here that didn't seem present before. It was kind of like hodgepodge.
Yes.
And now they're really kind of paying attention to the interior appointments, which is nice. It sounds so good.
It does.
That supercharger line on top of it really adds a...
Oh, I know. It's so nice. It just adds that little bit of extra. I mean, I love a car that's got a whine.
Got a little drama to it. I have to say that one of my favorite parts of this car is this shifter. I mean, it's just so purpose built, so nicely weighted.
It's got a good throw, and what's interesting to me is in some other reviews, I've seen that people really complain about it. They say, "Oh, I find it difficult to shift fast." I'm like, I have not felt any of that.
No, not at all.
Fair enough, we've not been on a track in it.
That's true.
But just when you're kind of bombing around a back road, it's not an issue. Not an issue at all.
I don't think so at all. But my favorite, even more favorite part, I should say, of that shifter is the exposed linkage below it. Did you see that, Greg? I mean,
that exposed linkage is so cool.
Yeah, it really speaks to Lotus's desire to bring forth the mechanical aspects of the experience. So I'm getting a nice real shifter here. I can hear the clicks from below. I got my throttle actuator in the back, buzzing away there. And ooh, that's so fun. He doesn't watch it.
Don't get distracted.
Oops.
Focus on the road ahead.
What I need in one of these screens is just a camera on that.
They should make that as an option on the infotainment.
Such a fun car.
Yeah.
It's just such a lively car to drive. It wakes you up, and it's just purity. Like, even though it is, a supercharged engine, you feel every bit of it. It's not muted in any way.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of a supercharged, it just kind of extends the displacement, right? It makes this almost feel like it's a 4-liter V8 or something along those lines, but it's just a 3.5-liter V6.
Right.
And I just love how delightfully mechanical this car feels.
Yes.
It feels purposeful. It feels mechanical, but inside it's not a penalty box like the Evora was. It's not a place that you're going to rattle your brains and teeth out like the Elise was.
Right.
So it's absolutely wonderful. I cannot give it enough laudits.
Yes. I mean, we're so happy that this has come forth from Lotus.
Yes.
Because, I mean, Lotus doesn't put out many new cars.
No, they don't.
So,
they've been teetering on the brink of bankruptcy for years, and then they decide they're going to go purely EV, but they're going to give us this swan song, and what a swan song it is.
Oh my gosh, yes. Hopefully they keep this one out as long as they did the Evora.
Yes, exactly. Evora hung around for years and gave us many wonderful additions.
Yeah.
And the thing that's kind of cool is this is right on performance with an Evora 400. So that was up-level Evora. It wasn't quite to the level of the Evora GT, but it's not bad. Like, I mean, to me, this is an adequate amount of performance for a usable backroads car and a usable track car.
Absolutely. I mean, to think about this level of performance coming out just out of essentially what will be a base model, right? Once Lotus starts dumping in special editions. I mean, that's really incredible.
It is. It is. I mean, this is basically going to be their Cayman S.
Yeah.
So they're eventually going to make something that's going to be a GT4 competitor. It's going to have aero. It's going to be a little bit more focused, more power.
Can you imagine what that's going to look like, too?
Oh, it's going to... Knowing Lotus, it's going to look the business.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, everywhere that we've been going in this car, it's gotten looks. Oh. Every single where you go.
Yeah.
It's so nicely styled.
If we had had this at our supercar challenge, this would have beaten both of them.
I know, it's true.
Both of them.
Yeah. Even with the Corvette being in that baby blue.
Yeah. This would draw more eyes.
Oh, for sure.
And not just because it's bright yellow.
No, I mean, the proportions on it are perfect. I mean, you got classic supercar proportions just shrunk down a little bit. You know?
All right, guys, and that concludes our road test of the Lotus Emira First Edition.
Yeah, I mean, Greg and I were like completely blown away by this car. We came in with high expectations.
Yeah, I mean, we really did. We knew this was like literally the last of a generation of mechanical driver's cars, and it is. It is the end of an entire run, right?
It absolutely is. I mean, this is, it heralds in like the last of the true mechanical Lodi. I mean, dating all the way back to the, I mean, we have the Evora predecessor to this, and then the Elise prior to that. All of them were basically benchmarks for true performance cars in their segments, and this just carries on that story, but adds a great layer of just comfort to
just
that.
Comfort and modern amenities. Like, I mean, it gives you everything a Lotus gave you, and then it just takes it up a notch, really. I mean, it's just, we cannot say enough positive things about this car. It's just wonderful, wonderful vehicle.
Absolutely. The handling, the power, the delivery of the power, completely linear throughout the power band. I mean, the way it's grabbing onto those corners and does not let go and wants more and more as you go through those corners.
Really, the one thing that jumped out to us was how deceptive speed is in this car.
Yes.
Like, I mean, you just are just bombing along a back road, then you look down and you're like, oh no.
It can definitely get you in trouble.
Yes. I'm going to jail territory. We need to back it off. And it just sneaks up on you. It's nothing that you're trying to achieve. The car just makes it that easy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some flaws with this car. As with any car, no car's perfect. And I mean, speaking of performance, one thing that we did, kind of bump on was the rev limiter on this.
Yeah, we bumped on it a few times. It's indicated about 6,750 RPMs on the tach, but just a hair over 6 is always when it kicks in. So if you're ever behind the wheel of an Emira, basically just use 6,000 as your target there.
There you go. And it's gonna tell you it wants you to shift way earlier than that.
Yeah, I mean, you're honestly not making a whole lot more power above that anyway, so just go ahead and shift.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The other drawback to this car, as you might be surprised since it's a small supercar, is that utility limited.
It's pretty minimal.
Very limited.
It's pretty minimal. You got a small trunk in the back. The front's reserved for cooling equipment, and you can't open that front. So if you are planning on buying this car, it really needs to be a car that you are taking on limited runs. Unless you're a single person that doesn't carry much luggage. You do have a kind of a small parcel shelf behind the front seats here. So if you're doing like some shopping, you can put some bags back there. But
or if you happen to be a DoorDash driver, the rear trunk does stay very, very toasty with that engine right there.
That is a very good point. Very successful and quick deliveries.
Exactly, extra quick delivery. You'd be hitting on that for everybody, making those extra tips.
Exactly, exactly. Well, we hope you enjoyed our review of the Lotus Emira.
Yep, thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on The Driver's Line.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss a thing.